listening to Freshly Squeezed.
Some of the early demos, wow, you won't want them on this podcast, put it that way. We've had to kiss a lot of lyrical frogs before we found our princess, you know what I mean?
Summer berries.
Here we are, it's another festival special on Freshly Squeezed, the new music podcast. I'm Jim Salveson, and the festival we are zeroing in on today is YNOT Festival. If you're heading up to the Peak District for this one, then I've got 4 brilliant recommendations for you. If you're not going, well, just 4 brilliant new emerging bands to wrap your ears around. Coming up, you're going to hear brand new music from the brilliant Manchester band. We always have to feature at least one Manchester band, Bayboards. Going to the other end of the country with the brilliant and slightly quirky Can Pineapple.
I just want you in my world, my only favorite girl. I'll see you tonight.
They're from Brighton, by the way, when I said other end of the country. We're going to hear more from Sunbeam. One of my favourites on today's podcast as well, the fantastic Irish band Somebody's Child.
When you fade away, I swear I'm lost in the power of it all.
They are all on the way. Tunes and chat from that quintuplet. Before we crack on, do me a favour, if you've listened to a few of these podcasts now and you've still not hit subscribe or follow wherever you're listening, do it. Do it now. It helps us in the charts, helps our ratings, but also means you get a little reminder when a brand new episode drops. And also, if you've not left a review yet, even if it's your first time, dive into your podcast app of choice, give us a 5-star review, leave some comments, and you might get a shout out on a future episode. Speaking of shout-outs, a few weeks back we got a comment on Spotify from Altrincham Football Club, who just did the kind of celebration hands in the air emoji to one of our episodes. It was the one with Spangled, Alright J10, and importantly Spin Class, the brilliant band who make the Freshly Squeezed theme tune Blue Blazer. Well, last week Altrincham FC released their brand new football kit for the forthcoming season, and the theme music they used on that was the stuff you're listening to now, Spin Class Blue Blazer. I love it when a plan comes together. And I think Alty might now be the official football club of Freshly Squeezed. But anyway, let's get on with the tunes and chat, shall we? First up on this episode, it's Sunbeam. They're joining me on the podcast. How you doing, lads?
Good,
Yeah,
mate.
good, Jim. Thanks. How are you?
I'm good, Tar. So first, important stuff out of the way. YNOT Festival. What stage are you on? What time are you on?
Go on, Nick.
We're playing the allotment stage. We're playing the allotment stage at 8 p.m, I
8
believe.
p.m? Yeah, just took that from somewhere, Jim, and I'm going to go along with it. Yeah, it's around then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you just stick around there, I'm sure there'll be some other good bands on as well, so you'll catch us.
So from this, I'm getting, is Nikki the organizer? Do you do the bookings? Do you kind of manage everything? And then, like, Jimmy, you're just hanging out. You're just, like, following everyone else on.
Reluctantly, yeah. So it's seemed to work out.
He's the only one who's got the email password, so
Yeah. Access to an iPhone calendar.
basically, yeah.
Will this be your first time at YNOT Festival, either as a band or as punters, or have you done it before?
Second time, mate, yeah.
We played there 2 years ago as well.
That was our sort of like festival debut, weren't it? Like,
Yeah, first ever.
sort of main fest debut, so it was great. I think we were on about 2:00, was it, Nick? And we weren't expecting much. Like, I mean, we're unknown now, but we're even more unknown then. And yeah, like the tent was all half full, and then by the time we finished, it was like sort of people watching from outside the tent. So that was one of the first times we've kind of gone out of town in a way and had like a mega reception to one of our gigs. Yeah, that was pretty special. So it'll be nice heading back there.
So how are you when you do the festival circuit? Do you go there, get the business done, like focus on the music, focus on the job in hand, or do you try and enjoy it and check out some of the other bands while you're there?
Yeah, no, last time we went, made like a full weekend of it. Saw tons of new bands.
Yeah.
You know, especially the allotment stage. We stuck around there for most of the weekend. And this time, actually, it's quite a good one because Sean, the lead guitarist in the band, it's actually going to be his stag do.
Oh, wow.
At YNOT Festival. So it's going
We're going to try and get him wearing all sorts on stage. There's been some ideas like thrown into the camp.
Yeah, don't say too much because you might hear this. Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah,
I love it. I think this is another reason to go and see you play the festival.
Who knows what
I should have said that was exclusive for Sean. That wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah, definitely. Even if it's just to come and watch Sean on his stag do, then
Nice one. So let's talk about your music in case people haven't heard it before. I listened to it and I think it's got a bit of a retro feel to it. There's a bit of 90s indie there, but at the same time, I can hear some influences that go back a bit further, kind of the big 1970s melodic bands, maybe a bit of Neil Young, maybe a little Bob Dylan. Do you see those influences in your music as well?
yeah, you've got a good ear there, Jim. Definitely. I mean, when we get asked this question, it's always hard because our music taste is so eclectic. It just spans like genres and decades. But I think first and foremost, from a writing point of view for me, definitely Neil Young and Bob Dylan, massive influences. But yeah, we don't kind of try to sound like anything, but obviously inadvertently you get a sound.
Yeah, I would say people, such as Bob Dylan and Neil Young, you can't help but be influenced by their music.
Me and Nick have been doing this quite a lot of years, Jim, and some of the early demos, wow, you won't want them on this podcast, put it that way. So we've had to kiss a lot of lyrical frogs before we found our princess, you know what I mean? But now, especially because me and Nick used to be a duo, and now we've got, 3 other lads in the band, so we're proper band now, and they're all bringing their own ideas in from like an instrumental point of view. So we really feel like we've found our sound now.
Well, the reason I referenced Bob Dylan is because there's a real kind of storytelling nature about your music, I think. And as a band, you're from Whitby originally, very clearly proud of that fact, Northern Town in your back catalogue. A very positive song about your hometown. And I think that's unusual in the way people talk and sing about Northern music. There's a line that says, "Jewel of a Northern Town." In general, music from this part of the world, it tends to be about grime and shady nightlife and wanting to get away from it and make better of yourself. Was that something that you really wanted to kind of push against with that tune? Did you want to kind of go, look, where we live is actually great?
Yeah, I think most of them songs say that because they're not from Whitby. If they were, I think they'd be writing the exact same thing. People write about wanting to leave, I write about wanting to stay. Like, even if me and Nicky have lived there over 30 years, we're still taking pictures. Like every day you walk down,
it's absolutely stunning place.
It's stunning. I mean, we do love it, and we try not to put that in people's faces, but we're proud of it.
Yeah, every second song. We love
it, mate, and we're definitely influenced by it, and we get some serious backing here. And I think singing about where we live and singing about everyday things that happen, I think it resonates with people. So
I'm gonna say I think we've grown such a strong community from being proud of where we're from. Everyone seems to have got on board with it, don't they? It's
definitely.
Right, one quick question to finish off. And it's something we've asked before on Freshly Squeezed a few times, and it can cause a few arguments, but for YNOT Festival, you get to kick one member out of the band temporarily and replace them with any musical legend you like. So you have to lose one of your mates, but you get a legend on stage with you, just for one show, and then you can go back to normal. Who's staying and who's going?
Well, I mean, I'll volunteer as tribute here. So if you can name a frontman, Nick.
Tough one, isn't it? Does it have to be like fitting with a band, or can it just be anyone?
If you can make it work, it's up to you, but I mean, you're the creative driving force behind this. You just got to make it work.
I think Tom Clark would be good.
Tom Clark would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Kick me out. I'll watch Tom Clark with my band.
You can tambourine, Jim.
Yeah. I don't have the river, Mick.
Well, Tom Clark will not be on stage 8 p.m. the allotment YNOT Festival, but it will be a kind of live performance / stag do.
Don't rule it out.
Yeah, right. Maybe he can provide the stripper services for the stag do theme you got going on. That'd be worth going to see. Sunbeam, nice one. Enjoy the festival, and cheers for coming on Freshly Squeezed.
Cheers, Jim. Appreciate you, mate.
See you, mate.
You change your mind without a warning. You run and hide from the new day calling. Oh my love, you're too blind to see. Don't you know two's company? So hold on, I've been waiting for you. When the sun drops, I'll be right where I want it to. You change your mind without a warning. You run and hide from the new day calling. All my love, you're too blind to see. Don't you know two's company?
Loving that from Sunbeam. It's called Almost Always. I said it was their brand new tune in the chat. It's not quite their brand new tune. I spoke to them a few weeks back now, and actually between now and then they've released another record. That is called This Is The Life. It's equally brilliant. The link to that is in the podcast description, along with links to all today's artists. Right, I'm here in the freshly squeezed supermarket, if you can't tell, and the reason I'm here is because I'm looking for the next band I want to speak to. It's somewhere in this canned fruit aisle, but I'm not sure where it is. So I'm going to just try a few different things. Let's try this can of peaches first off. Hello? Hello? No, definitely in there. What about this can of pear segments in juice? Let me see about this one. Hello? Hello? Nope. That's no good as well. Let me see. Well, it's mixed fruit. I'll try this. Why mixed fruit? Is there only ever one glacier cherry? Loads of other fruit, but loads of one glacier cherry. Anyway, we'll find out. Are they in here? Hello? No, that looks empty. One more try. Maybe they're in this tin of canned pineapple. Hello? Canned pineapple.
Hello, Jim.
Hi. So, on stage at YNOT Festival this year, will you be going to the festival and just kind of checking out the whole thing, and then when it's time to go, it's time to go, or will you be flying in for your set and then disappearing off?
We will definitely be there to enjoy the whole festival.
Okay.
We're still at a stage where we don't have to blast off immediately, so we're going to enjoy both Truck and Why Not this year. I've seen them twice before, but I just want to see the Prodigy again, to be honest. At Why Not?
Madness will be fun.
Yeah, Madness will be good. They'll be good fun.
Madness and the Prodigy are both kind of quite high energy shows. Is that kind of like a hint at what you aspire to as a band?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, we're always like planning and talking about how we can make our stage show more energetic and more interactive and stuff. And like we're always a band that try and emit positive energy and like get people going. So the Prodigy is the best. They're probably second best band I've ever seen energy wise. Obviously, our music's not as really the same. Like, it wouldn't be the same vibe, but if we could capture that in our own live performance, that would be great.
Let's talk about your music. Big Break, brand new EP. It's been in the world for 3 months or so now. I'm sure it's had some live outings already. Does the period between releasing the EP and now, when you've been living with it for a few months, does that change your relationship with it in any way? Do new kind of favourite tracks emerge as you see how crowds react and that kind of thing?
Well, I think this EP has been kind of like the last group of kind of the first songs we wrote with the band, if that makes sense. All the songs have been around for us live for quite a long time. So it's more like it, for all of them, it puts like a nice pin in it creatively. For a lot of them, other than Elvis was kind of the one that was written just before we recorded it. And so that one was the freshest one and the most fun one. But I think now they've all been sat there for a while. Like the ones that we wrote, like they're quite nostalgic now. So I think the older ones are kind of become more favourite on it.
Is that why the EP's 6 tracks long? Because you kind of wanted to bookend the older recordings? Because it's quite long for an EP. It's verging on debut albums, and most people will kind of maybe hold a little bit back for a future record, but you've stuck it all on one record. Is that kind of the thinking there? Yeah,
I suppose it is definitely a bookend. I think we gig, as I said, we kind of gigged all of those songs pretty relentlessly, and so like it was nice to there was a couple of songs that we weren't going to put on it, like Georgia and Blue. Originally, it was going to be a 4-track EP, and then we put Georgia and Blue on it because we just ended up recording them because we kind of thought we love these songs and we don't feel like we would put them out on anything else because we're always constantly writing and always have new stuff coming through. So like we kind of wanted them to have a place, but that we were worried that they wouldn't have a place in our catalogue if we didn't put them out with this one.
The title of the EP, Big Break, it feels like a combination of a kind of ironic dig at the music industry and also maybe some hope that this could be the big break. Is that how it feels internally? Do you have kind of a foot in one camp and one foot in the other of that opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's poking fun at the idea of a big break. Anyway, I mean, like it's kind of in the modern day when being a band is different to how it always has been. I think, as in, from like the 20th century sort of thing. I think it's kind of like a statement on trying to work out what that means nowadays, as well as obviously hoping that anything, like, we want to be the biggest band in the world, whatever. So like, if it was our big break, we would definitely be happy, and definitely be happy that the name worked for that. But I think we've still got a few more records to put out.
Does it feel like there's a roadmap for a band to follow at the moment? And I think the idea of kind of overnight success, it doesn't exist now. I'm not sure it ever really existed. It's like bands that feel like they've been overnight successes that's overnight success has been years in the making, but now it does feel like a more challenging route for a band to follow. Is there a kind of route map? Do you look at it and go, well, we need to do this and then this and then this, and that means we'll get to this point?
I think it's more variable now than it ever has been. Someone was actually telling me last night there was this band that wrote one song, put it out on TikTok, and it blew up. And then, like festivals and stuff were trying to book them for this summer, and they had to turn them all down because they only had one song. And so, like, but then equally, there's personally what I would call real bands that that put the grind in, like bands and artists of all kinds always have. And I think that way, in like the current state of the music industry, is obviously so much harder right now than it was previously.
I think when we first started, there were things that we thought we should be doing.
Yeah.
But now I think we just want to write good music and play the best shows we can, sort of thing. And that's the only thing we can really do. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to let you pick a tune off the EP to play, but I decided actually I wanted to pick a tune off it because I think my favourite song on the record is My Fave Girl, if that's okay. The reason I really like this is it kind of feels a little bit Beatlesy, but as if the Beatles had been put through some kind of distorted, scuzzy filter. And I think as a tune, it kind of sums up your music quite well because it's got that nostalgic retro vibe to it, but it feels like you've taken that into a really modern place. So you're not just aping those bands of the 60s and 70s, you're kind of moving it into the modern era. Is that kind of like that process that I've just described, is that a conscious thing on your part that you want those retro influences, but you want it with this kind of modern canned pineapple twist?
It's not a conscious thing in the sense of we talk about it, but I think like we love all those old bands and stuff, but and like they've influenced us greatly, but equally we want to be a band who is modern and stuff, and we take as much influence from our peers and the bands we're surrounded with, socially, to the ones that are kind of in the history books. And I think there's a load of bands who are kind of like just nostalgia bands, which is great, and like there's a lot of them that we love, but like we want to be current and keep just blending the eras really, because otherwise nothing new will ever happen. Do you know what I mean?
So if you're happy with My Only Favourite Girl, we'll get that on Freshly Squeezed. Is that cool?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm glad it's your favourite.
Nice one. Guys, really nice to chat to you. Good luck for festival season, and I'm sure we'll speak again on Freshly Squeezed. Dead cool, dead quirky. I'm a big fan of canned pineapple. The band, not the, I like the fruit as well. It's decent, but the band are even better. Right, we're all about YNOT Festival and this episode of Freshly Squeezed, picking some of my favourite artists off the bill. And next up, Bayboards, and in particular, Ben from Bayboards. You okay, mate?
I'm good, thank you.
Important info first, headline info. When are you playing and where are you playing at the festival?
We are playing on the Giant Squid stage on Saturday.
Is this the first time you've been to YNOT, or have you done the festival before?
We've done it a couple of times in the past. It's a good festival to do because me and Javen in the band, we're both from Buxton,
Oh, right, okay.
which is like just next to YNOT. So it's like it's a big thing for us.
That's just down the road, isn't it? I think it's a great festival, but it can be slightly susceptible to the weather. I played there a few years ago. I did a DJ set and I was locked out of the festival site for 2 hours beforehand because there was just like thunder and lightning going on and they weren't letting anyone in and out. So
Oh my God.
as long as the weather's all right, I think you're okay, but it's a decent one.
Well, when we went one year, I accidentally took a sun tent instead of a proper tent.
All right, okay.
And it started chucking it down with rain. And as you can imagine, I died. And I was there from like Thursday to Sunday. It was awful.
Right, don't make that mistake again. Proper tent this time.
Yeah, not again.
What type of band are you when you go and do these festivals? Are you a head to the main stage kind of band, or do you kind of chill, check out the smaller tents, see who you've got kind of as competition in terms of up and comers?
I mean, we just make the most of the festival. Like to us, it's good because we're seeing so many bands for free. So we'll normally just like linger about, meet people, say hi, try and spread the awareness of Bayboards.
I suppose this time around as well, playing the main stage on the Thursday night, you've got a band that you directly reference in your band PR in terms of like, if you like this band, you're going to like us in the Wombats. Will you be trying to meet them backstage?
Oh yeah, we're going to take a few wristbands and try and catch them in.
Nice. I've got a little quiz for you, Ben. I'm going to name you some bands and I want you to tell me the connection that all these bands have in common, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so the bands are Central Station, Monroe, Concrete, and Brain Salad. Any connection that springs to mind from all those?
How have you found all them? There are old band names, yeah.
How do you feel when you reflect on that? Because there's a fair few incarnations there of names you've been through before you got to Bayboards. Does each of those names remind you of kind of a stage you went through as a band? And if you had to reject Bayboards as a name, you had to go back to one of those, which one would you go to?
I'd definitely be Brain Salad. That was a sick name. But because we started like when we were really young and we were dead like indecisive on what we wanted to do. So we just kept switching and switching. And like when I think back to them names, like it's just funny. Like it just reminds me of like when we were younger and like playing just like local pubs where we're from.
Let's bring it back up to date though. Your last tune, How I Wish I Was Cool, absolutely soars as a tune. And it feels like
Oh, thank you.
that compared to what came before. I liked what came before and it was very kind of 2010s indie bops. It was that kind of vibe. But with this new one, it felt like you just went, right, we're taking the brakes off. We're going all out on the production. Was that a bit of a moment for you as a band?
I mean, we just sort of made it like we made the other songs and released it. But when we were recording it, we did think How I Wish I Was Cool would be like a standout one because it's just like a massive ballad, kind of. I think it's a ballad.
How do you step that up for the next set of tunes? So I know you're in the studio right now. So how do you move that on for the next block of music, for the next EP or whatever's coming down the line?
Yeah, so in the studio at the moment and like we're just trying to like kind of find our sound still a little bit, I guess. We're looking at what we've done in the past and we're looking at the songs that we're writing now. And like we just want to merge all of that together. You know, like chorusy guitars, big sort of ballady stuff, emotional lyrics. So yeah, we're sort of just crafting like this EP into this good. What we're coming up with is very good.
So back to your gig at YNOT Festival. I've heard a rumour that as a band you like to put in some crazy rider requests to see what you can get away with, and I'm assuming there'll be some for YNOT Festival. In the past you've had a Ferrari, 1,000 bottles of Jack Daniels, a bouncy castle, all on your list of demands. Have any of those actually delivered yet? Have you actually turned up at a gig and got anything you've asked for?
No, we haven't. It's kind of just a joke because we see loads of bands and like we see the riders. It's just absolutely like ridiculous. Yeah, we're just sort of making fun of it a bit.
When you actually get something you've asked for, will that be the we've made it moment when you've asked for 1,000 bottles of Jack Daniels and they turn up in your dressing room and you've got to do them before the gig? That's going to be a real moment.
I think I'd give them back. I think I'd feel bad. I'd be like, it was a joke, mate.
Right, we're going to finish with your fantasy festival lineup. So I know as a band you've got some real eclectic musical tastes going on. So I'm interested to see how you deal with this. It's slightly easier because you're on your own, Ben, rather than with the band. So you can kind of like set the tone for this one. So I need an opener. I need a mid-festival slot. This is the band that plays as the sun goes down on the festival. and we obviously need a headliner as well. Who are you putting in your 3 festival slots?
Oh God, that's a really hard question. Can they be dead?
They can be whoever you like. Your fantasy, it's your dream lineup. It can be whatever you want.
Right, so I'll pick one old band. So we'll go with The Doors, because they were just insane. Wait, they'd be like the good middle show.
Okay, so we've got the Doors in the middle.
There's Shane.
No.
There's a band called Shane who are absolutely sick. They'd be great for like opening up, because they're just, the bassist literally just runs around the stage. He's so energetic.
Okay, we'll put them as the openers, and I'll put a note as a band I need to check out as well. So who's headlining this?
Us?
Nicely done.
I actually don't know.
You can have the headline slot. We'll put
I reckon Circa Waves. Circa Waves.
Circa Waves. Nice choice. That was the perfect opportunity to put Wombats on the headline slot and kind of like grease the wheels for that meet and greet backstage Thursday night at YNOT Festival. But you missed the opportunity, Ben.
Oh no.
But enjoy the festival. I'm sure you're going to absolutely smash it, and really appreciate your time on Freshly Squeezed. And we'll get your last release. Whilst we wait patiently for new music, we'll play How I Wish I Was Cool on Freshly Squeezed. Nice one, mate.
Thank you.
We walk down the street wearing suits that are baggy. It is 30 degrees, but we don't want to show our body. Since billboards and videos tell us we are wrong, no one desires a skinny boy without strong arms. Here we are. Do we belong? Oh, how I wish I was cool when I walk down the street. People staring at me. How I wish I was cool. How I wish I was cool. Thinking I'm James Dean, but I'm not. I'm just a wannabe. How I wish I was cool.
That is it for this episode of Freshly Squeezed. That was brand new from Bayboards, called How I Wish I Was Cool, and it should be a decent incentive to check out more from that band because they are ace, as is the lineup for this year's YNOT Festival. It gets better and better every year. Started off really boutiquey, it's just getting bigger and bigger. Headlining, you got Prodigy, Cortina's Madness, and the bill right the way down is stunning. You've got loads of these. Oh, hang on. I'd not spotted this band. Hold on. Stop everything, because we can't do a Why Not special without speaking to this band on the bill this year. We can't do it without speaking to somebody's child.
Hey Jim, how's it going?
Kian, welcome to Freshly Squeezed. Do you have details of what stage time, what stage are we playing for Why Not Festival yet?
I definitely do.
But you can't remember them.
I'm not the guy to ask, to be honest. I've got enough going on in my brain to remember stuff like that, I'm afraid. I know we're on the main stage, and I know we're definitely not headlining.
Okay, so some point between opening and closing on the main stage. That's pretty good.
I'd say it's early afternoon. I'd say it's mid-afternoon or so, yeah.
I'm guessing if you don't know what time you're going to be playing, you don't know kind of who the bread in your sandwich is yet, who's going to be on before you or on after you yet.
No, that, again, is not something I'm privy to.
Does that ever become a consideration into what you're doing when you kind of get there and you see, I don't know, you're following Megadeth? Do you then go, well, we're going to have to start with the harder, faster stuff and then go into the kind of more acoustic stuff? Does it consider how your set looks, or do you just have to focus on your own game at that point?
You know what? That is a very good point I've never thought about before. Yeah, I mean, if we were following Megadeth, we'd be doing pretty well. So I'm not annoyed with that. But at the same time, that would be a pretty scary band to follow for sure. And we probably would have to cut out. I think it's more so you just wouldn't play certain songs. I think the way that we try and do our sets is to start as strong as we can and finish as strong as we can, which does leave a bit of a lull in the middle. But I don't think there's any way of having a set without some sort of, I mean, I'd be bored personally if there was no dynamics within a set.
Yeah.
So but where you want to put the slower ones. And obviously some bands are just quite like mid-tempo or down-tempo in what they make, but we kind of make a variety of different styles. So yeah, I guess it's just about how to fill them in, and it's always a balance then as well, because like, you know, we're we're a beating heart as well, and we need to keep ourselves entertained as well as everyone in the crowd. You know, we're not on a 20-year reunion tour of an album yet, so that, you know, I'm sure we'd find the novelty in that when it came around, but we're still trying to keep things fresh and exciting for us as well.
You're obviously fairly experienced in the festival side of things now, and also no Megadeth support, but you have supported some pretty substantial names, the likes of Kings of Leon and Block Party. Is there an art to playing that kind of gig where you're supporting a band like that, or even a festival where you have to kind of, I guess, win over part of the crowd, because part of the crowd at least aren't necessarily fans of your music, so you've kind of got to make an impression quickly, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny when I guess momentum, I find it quite a weird thing. I don't really like the comparison, but I always can't stop coming back to it. But I do find that like momentum is like, you know, when a sports person gets an injury and it takes them a while to kind of come back from that. You know, I think with music, it kind of feels the same, because one weekend you could be playing somewhere where you've played before and you're familiar with the crowd, and you know it's going to be good, and there's no, you know, reason to worry. And sometimes some gigs are not as good as others, and that's just the reality of it. You know what I mean? So you could be playing the exact same set to a completely different crowd and get a totally different reaction, you know, and you don't really know till you're up there. But that I guess is part of the excitement.
It sounds terrifying and challenging and fun all at the same time. All those emotions rolled in together.
Yeah.
We're going to get a little taste of the new album, no doubt, on stage at YNOT Festival. Second album came out earlier in the year, follow up to the 2023 debut as well. I know my thoughts on this, but I'm interested to get your thoughts. How do you feel like you've moved on as a band between those two records?
Quite a lot, I'd say. To be honest, everything is hindsight, and it's so easy to talk back on things in a different light. And, you know, I have to be careful of doing that, because I understand that people are kind of maybe just coming across our first album at that point in their life and have a different experience of things. But yeah, certainly when we moved on to album 2, there was no like definitive stop. But I think by the time we recorded album 1, because of COVID and other external kind of circumstances that prevented us from putting that out at a point where I think it might have been more natural, we found ourselves almost regressing in the studio in order to make it sound like a first album and how it did when we first wanted to write it, even though our tastes probably were beyond that even at the point of recording. So, you know, we kind of felt like we wanted to do it justice, and it was a first album and this is how the song should sound, but we were kind of beyond that creatively even at that point. So when we got the chance to then lean into that for the second album, bigger kind of sonic sound, you know, we kind of jumped at it. So it does feel like the second album, I think, is maybe 2 steps forward, as opposed to it sort of feels like a third album to me than a second album. And, you know, there's probably a second album that just evaporated into the ether of Logic databases on someone's old computer from COVID, and it's probably for the best as well, to be honest.
With the new record, you said it's a more mature record and it's sonically a bit bigger. I think I can hear a little bit more of your piano in it as well, which I'm really enjoying. In terms of that maturity, does that come across in the subject matter and the lyrics? Because it feels to me, when I listen to it, it feels kind of like quite reflective, which I think is something that comes with maturing and getting older, your kind of ability to look back a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely more inward facing than externally. Yeah, it was definitely something that I wanted to figure out in my own head rather than looking outwardly towards the world. And as I say, you kind of channeling a certain anger towards other people, but more reflecting inwards and figuring out what, you know, maybe the root cause of that anger within myself, without kind of placing blame on external factors to a sense. But there's also a playfulness that wasn't there in the first album that I really wanted to include, and this idea of kind of humor in lyrics and levity in what I'm trying to say, because I think there's almost a more poignant feeling to levity by crossing subject matters that can't otherwise be said without an element of kind of cringe is the wrong word, but, you know, by taking these things and adding a certain light to them, you know, it almost has a different perspective. And I guess that's all you're trying to do. You're trying to convey perspective on certain things and hope that it reflects with people. You know, I'm talking waffle now, but that's how it feels.
Well, it's a good place to finish off today's conversation, Cian. Really nice to speak to you. Thanks for coming on Freshly Squeezed. Good luck for the festival. We're going to close out with a tune. What do you want to play off the new album? What would you fancy?
Do you know what? It's a song I love and doesn't get enough of a look in just because of where it sits on the album and stuff. The title track, When Youth Fades Away, is one of the earliest tracks that was written for it. And yeah, it harbours the most amount of the kind of influences that I wanted to get into the album in it. So maybe let's go with that.
We'll get it on. Lovely to speak to you. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Jim.
I can hear the sound of summer, steady days and mellow nights. Walking home along the meadows, someone shouts out
absolutely love Somebody's Child on a big UK tour in this autumn as well. So we'll be playing near you. Check out the tour dates. Go and see them. They are ace. That really is it for this episode of Freshly Squeezed. Go and check out all the bands via the links in the bio. Also check out the lineup for this year's YNOT Festival because it is a good one this year. I think it might be their best ever. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, make sure you've clicked subscribe or follow where you're listening. If you've listened for a few and you're enjoying it, make sure you leave a review, and most importantly, tell your new music loving mates. We'll have a new dose of emerging music for you next week. Cheers to your ears.
Freshly Squeezed, a new music podcast, was devised, produced and hosted by Jim Salveson. Sound design and additional production by Ant McGinley. Theme music, Blue Blazer, is written and produced by Spin Class. Stop.